I call the honourable member Amy Adams.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, I'm just going to take a quick call on the second reading of the Student Loan Scheme Bill because listening to the last speaker, members listening at home might think this bill is considerably wider than it is. In fact, Mr Speaker, it's a reasonably straightforward bill that does enjoy wide support. And as the Minister has set out very well in his opening contribution, sir, it really is about making this part of the tax system simpler, easy to understand, making it easier for taxpayers to comply with their student loan obligations, and making sure, sir, that we have a tax system that works in the best interests of the stakeholders who use it. And that's been an ongoing work programme for the Minister, and I commend him for that work across the tax system. And this bill, sir, represents the student loan scheme parts of that. Sir, if I remember back many years, it seems now, when I had a student loan, I can certainly attest that one of the most frustrating parts of the process was not being able to get any sort of sense from IRD about what the loan balance was. It was all compartmentalised into different years, and you'd be in credit in this year and you'd have a debit from last year and you couldn't set the debit off against the credit. And sir, it seemed to me even then that it was nonsensical. We couldn't run these systems in more of a simple bank loan way where you had a consolidated real-time balance that you could access easily and contribute to easily. And finally, sir, under the National-led government and under Minister Dunn, we're moving to a system where that sort of common sense, easy to use process will come into being, and I think student loan borrowers for many years to come will be very grateful that we do have that sort of certainty. I want to touch on two other matters very briefly. The first is around the pay period certainty we're providing, where the majority of student loan borrowers who are on PAYE for salary and wage payments can have some certainty, sir, that when they make their weekly or fortnightly or monthly contributions, that is the sum total of their obligation. Each week or each pay period, if they pay the required amount, then they can be certain that their obligations are met, and they won't face the risk, sir, of getting a bill at the end of the year for some changes in accounting during the year. They won't suddenly find a bill arrives on their doorstep. As long as each pay period the right figure is paid, then they can relax in the certainty that their obligations are met. And sir, again, that is the sort of peace of mind, easy compliance that we certainly want to support. The final one, sir, is around the changes to the penalty rates, and as Minister Dunn noted, this is one of the areas where the Select Committee has certainly heard and accepted the fact that the dates will need to be pushed back while there's some work done in the department to get their systems in place. But it is a good system that we're moving to, where we're changing from effectively penalty rates on unpaid student loan contributions of getting up towards 20% per annum down to rates that are effectively going to be closer to around 10% per annum, and in fact as low as 8% per annum if non-compliant borrowers do enter into instalment arrangements with the IRD. So I think we're certainly getting into a much more usable and supportable penalty regime that won't see these debts spiralling out of all control, but still, of course, have that incentive on the borrowers to repay the debt. Sir, I think it's an excellent piece of legislation. It's the sort of making it easier to comply legislation that we need to support in this House, and I'm very happy to commend it to the House.
Awesome. Speaker.
I call the honourable